And I was muted. Welcome back to the Academy Gaming Weekly number 10, folks. We've got the final matchup for the night, which will be the Seraphs of Fortuna against the Dream. This is the exact same final matchup we had last week, where the Dream took them 2-1 to the Battle of Kylo in some very thrilling matches. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that again. Or we could possibly see the Seraphs taking them 2-1 or 2-0. We're going to have to go ahead and see. I do want to say we do have one more giveaway for this evening, which will be after the stream, so be sure to stick around for that. To be entered into that. So we're going to go ahead and get into this, take a look at the builds. We see both teams play, but we're going to take a look at the builds nonetheless. If you want to go ahead and take the red teams for us. Aerox.
Alright, so going over the red team's builds, we have the probably the most noble thing is the turret engineer on the red team. Jazzy turrets running 20660 with the Sentinel amulet with Mellinger, very standard turret engineer. The big players on red team will be Lux and the Guardian. I'm going to go over Lux first, so we're going to go over running Rune of the Scholar, running Berserker Amulet, running 26006. This isn't Panic Strike, what most DP thieves are running nowadays. This is a very damage-heavy kind of, like really much riskier kind of version of DP. Running with Smokescreen, kind of Lux's signature utility, and Thieves Guild. Now again, it's very signature of Lux, hallmark of Lux. Runs it all the time.
Yes,
and then
he does.
it's really annoying to fight in solo queue. And then Warmonger Noda running what seems to be a Shout Bow, running Celestial Amulet and Rune of the Soldier. Trait 0 being 00464. This is a very standard Shout Bow. Going off to DPS Guardian, running standard Medi Guardian. A little bit, it's a variant, I believe, because usually most DPS Guardians run 2 in Zeal, going for that 10% extra damage when someone is burning, instead of opting to go for the Abdominal Courage, which is stability, which is still a solid choice, running Rune of the Pack and Zerker Amulet. And finally, you have Ekelin. Let's see here. Hello?
I am here. I think we got a little bit of a lag spike there with the server.
Alright. Okay, so Ekelin running just regular DD Celestial Amulet with Rune of the Holbrack.
Joined your channel.
UPL build being 00266.
User was moved out of your channel.
Yeah, next for the blue team, we've got Max, who we saw last game, and we just saw these guys, so we're going to go over them pretty quickly. We've got him running the standard Shatter Mesmer build, running Sword Focus Greatsword, with the 44006 being his trait line. Next, we've got Southern Owl here, who's going to be running the Dagger Elementalist for this team. Infected Angel is going to be running the same exact thing, so nothing too special there. Next, we've got Anya Sagefey, who's going to be running Dagger Pistol Shortbow with Panic Strike, his traits being 60206 with Blinding Powder. We do want to point that out, that he's running that over Infiltrator Signet. Finally, we've got Spaceman, who is going to be the Celestial Rifle Engineer for this blue team. So he's going to be adding a lot of condies, a lot of CC, and healing potential for his team. Waiting for the members to ready up here. Do you have any predictions on this game? I mean, last week we saw the Dream beat them 2-1, but that definitely could have went either way.
A lot of what's going to have to be dependent on is what blue team's kind of decision making going against this turn engineer, being able to not over-rotate to points where the turn engineer is at, being able to use the mobility provided by the Mesmer Thief. On the other hand, the red team should be focusing on really taking out that Mesmer Thief with the DPS Guardian, because that DPS Guardian is really good actually against the Thief and Mesmer. So a lot of it's going to rely on, I think, blue team on the most part, on making proper decision making, making those portal plays, rotating to the right points, while having Jazzy turrets, you know, kind of trolling out one of the other points, and having the rest of the red team kind of clean up the fights at the other points.
That's definitely true. I mean, as we've seen, when we've seen the Dream play, Anya Sagefey has done an excellent job of getting decaps, but the red team plays 3 points, so we're going to have to see if that actually works out for them. They typically don't leave the points that they're at because, you know, they're so good with the turret engineer, you know, allowing for that 3-point play, and obviously they've got a DPS Guardian and a Thief as well, so they're able to get around points fairly quickly. Nothing to worry about in terms of mobility for this red team whatsoever.
I feel good.
Blue team is going to probably open up with a portal at mid, going to Fargan, again being the kind of elusive kind of Genesis strat. What red team can do to counter this, though, is like having still one member going to far point, picking off the Mesmer that is kind of dropping that portal off the mid, and then securing the 2 nodes while the turn engineer falls back into mid. That is the counter to the kind of like the Mesmer Thief strat that I think blue team will play.
That is definitely true. I believe we have a technical difficulty for one of the red team members. Just waiting on that to get finished up here. I mean, who do you think is just going to win this this whole entire series? Who do you think is going to take this tournament? Do you think it's going to be 2-0, 2-1, and some pretty close games, or do you think it's just going to be a blowout?
I think they're going to be pretty close games, to be honest. I think both teams are very confident and know what they need to do. I think it's going to come down into blue team making the proper decisions with the Mesmer Thief combo, making sure not to get over-rotate, not to overcommit.
Definitely true. I personally think the Dream will take it. I think they'll be forced to a Game 3, though, like last week. I think they're going to be extremely close games. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. I feel like the Dream is going to win this game. The first one, I think it favors the Dream, but I feel the second map with the Lord, I think that favors Seraphs and Fortuna a lot. But we have to see how that plays out for him. Got the opening splits for both teams. It doesn't look like we have any crossplay for the Dream, but Seraphs of Fortuna are going to be making a push for this third node over here. So they're going to be pushing 3 members over here. They're not actually going to go for the third point, though. It looks like they're just kind of sit around the mid node between the nodes, and they're just going to try and spike a few people out. There we have Southern Owl getting taken down super low there. We'll have to see if he's able to get out of that alive. He does get out of that alive, has plenty of cooldowns for that. But, you know, the cap's going in each team's favor here, so no 3-point play from the red team like I had expected just yet.
Blue team takes a capture point.
I think blue team was kind of anticipating a 3-point push, and that's why they kind of like had all their members kind of situated at home point, with anticipating that Bunker Guardian. But on the other hand, you have Lux taking out Anya, trying to keep. And this is actually going to give a red team quite a significant advantage at mid if they're able to take Anya out.
Yeah, in fact, going for the res on Anya, though, and not a lot of contustion. Lux gets taken down by Max there. Max, the Mesmer taking down the Thief. That's an interesting thing there going on. We do have the banner coming out, able to res a member for that team there. Red team did take the cap on the midpoint, getting that early 2 cap, but we have the D cap coming out from Southern Owl there, rotating out of that fight just fine. We do have a down body Lux over here. It looks like he's probably going to be able to get up. Nobody even in the general vicinity to actually put out some damage onto him. Looks like the blue team's kind of making a push for it. Blue team taking the side points, though. Max getting super low here. Doesn't have a lot of cooldowns. He does have Blink to get out of this fight, but doesn't look like he... I mean, he has his heal up in just a second here, so he's going to be just fine. Do have the decap coming out from Jazzy Turrets over here, getting that free decap on the henge. But the blue team... You know, I feel like they're winning the fights for the most part, and they just took down Warmonger, but a lot of good rotations coming out from the red team here.
Well, at the same time, I don't know, like, I feel that the red team, they had a major advantage at mid, having that 5-4, but yet blue team was still able to come on top of that. I feel like the red team, yeah, they have secured the home node and the mid node, but the blue team's going to snowball on this red node at mid, and again, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the blue team, they do get the kill on Panthera at the mid, so they're going to end up taking that cap. They aren't even going to try to get their home node back. They're just going to soak up this 2 cap here if they're able to manage to hold on to this. I think Lux shot at Refuge a little too early there. I think he could have got the D cap possibly if he would have been able to Bassy Venom, make sure Infectum wasn't able to get on there, but nonetheless throws that down. Blue team taking the midpoint, holding on to the mine here. They're just going to be fine. Trying to take down Eklon here. Eklon gets super low, gets taken down. Infected Angel going for the res, or excuse me, the stomp here. Warmonger noted trying to get the res. I mean, he's still got Lux in the general vicinity here. I wouldn't be surprised if they let the stomp go through. They do get the stomp here, as Anya Sage Faye died there. Bit of an interesting
at that
play.
Point, should have noticed that they were in a disadvantaged fight. They should have killed out from that point.
That is definitely true.
Because there was 3 members of red team, but they were able to secure their home point, getting henge back. DPS Guardian seems to be kind of want engaging this. I don't think it's a good idea for him. Yeah, he's going to go peel back into mid, and we're going to see like we're going to have a kind of a big team fight happening here. But on the other hand, red team does seem to have a slight advantage in this team fight, having greater numbers and taking out Infected Angel.
Yeah, that is definitely true. And I mean, this big team fight's not even on a note. It's below the keep, which is in favor of the red team. Like I said, this is going to be a close game, and thus far it's proved to be so. We've had a 2 cap in each team's favor. The red team holding it right now, trying to soak up some points. But it looks like the blue team's taking this fight. I mean, Max is in the downstate, actually. Lux is in the downstate. We're going to have to see who gets cleaved out first. Looks like Max might be that one. We do have Anya coming in for the res there. We did have the res onto Lux over there, so there we have it. Max being taken out, and this is going in the red team's favor. Below the keep here. We do have the decap coming out there from Southern Owl. So once again, Southern Owl doing an excellent rotation like during the middle of a fight and just getting a free decap there. I mean, he's probably not going to hold the node. He's not going to get the cap anytime soon, but that's just, you know, it's going to make sure that the red team isn't able to soak up a huge lead anytime soon.
Red team should definitely push their advantage at this point, knowing that they're kind of, blue team's kind of a little bit kind of scared, you know, kind of backing off a little bit. Red team needs to push their advantage now and definitely take out some of the blue team members, and they're doing just that, taking out Southern Owl. And on the other hand, Anya is getting that decap though at mine, but again, this is a very bad matchup for Anya. DPS guard being very.
I mean, it's a good pickup, very good pickup. He doesn't need to stay around there. He got the decap, but I think in his favor, it would be in his favor if he had gotten that decap and just bailed. But no, he's sticking around here. Panthera, the red team's already got a few ticks on it. It would have been a great play if he had just bailed to help his team. But he's going to have to bail now, and he's not even going to be at too much of a disadvantage for getting that decap. I mean, he's not going to have the advantage elsewhere.
DPS guard being extremely good at, like, it's very similar to the Necro NG matchup. DPS guard is extremely good against Thief. Whenever I usually kind of see a DPS guard, I usually kind of just, I kind of cringe a bit because it's a really hard matchup for Thief, and it's really one-sided. It's not true. It's not, like, unwinnable, but it's really hard.
Yeah, and red team getting the cap on the henge. They have the triple cap right now with the mid, mine, and henge there. Good rotations throughout the map for the red team. I think blue team's just a little scattered. I mean, it looks like they're okay. I mean, but just look at their health pools. They did portal out of here, though. Back onto the mid node. Take down Echelon super fast. This is exactly what they need to get back into this game. Take down a member of the red team and have an advantage elsewhere. But Max is getting super low there. We do have Jazzy Turrets all over him. Southern Owl making a push for the henge. We're going to have to see if Panthera is able to stay on top of him or if Lux is going to be able to get there in time. We do have Max. He's in stealth while getting rezzed here by Anya. Jazzy Turret's getting super low as well. It did take down Echelon, like I said, so blue team's going to get the cap on the mid node. This game's not out of proportion yet, just down about 80 points here, but the 2 cap is still ticking in favor of the red team. I think that 3 cap really hurt the blue team, and they need to have a full team wipe for the red team to really get back into this.
Yeah, but it seems like they're doing just that. They're taking back their home node. Red is really outnumbered at their home node, blue's home node. And Panthera is going down here. Blue team seems to secure this point. All they need to do right now is hold these 2 points, wait for the Powder Thief, be ready for decap. But again, they need to secure this fight first. The red team's already coming in, streaming in here. Blue team really needs to win this team fight going on at their home node right now.
Yeah, I mean, they took down Panthera there, and outside of the node, nobody in the blue team is even contesting it. Warmonger node threw down the banner to res Jazzy Turrets, but I don't even think it was needed. Like, because he could have just hand-resed him. He didn't have the banner there for Panthera that could have came in use, so he's still got another 2.5 minutes, if not more, 3 minutes, 3+ minutes before that banner is off cooldown, so that's going to hurt him. And blue team taking that 2 cap now, able to get back into this game. We do have the red team making a push for the spawner here. Still about 50% health, so we could definitely see a decap coming out here from Infected Angels. Panthera does have a couple teleports, but I don't think he has it up, though. So the decap's coming out there from Infected Angel. Huge play coming out from the blue team. This is where they need to come back into this game, especially if they get the spawner here.
Seems like Anya's trying to steal, and I think they'll get. Actually, red team does get the steal.
Wow.
DPS guard coming to the hero that red team needs. But again, blue team has secured 2 points.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal. We do have the DPS guardian having to spend another 15 seconds capping that, another 5 to 10 to get to the mid node, so he's going to be out of the equation for a while. Despite that spawner kill for the red team, the blue team are probably feeling pretty good about this, despite being down, 60 points. They've got the 2 cap, they've got the decap on the mine right now. This is what they need to get back into this game.
Yeah, blue team definitely showing prominent map control. We see kind of the blue team kind of centering around the 2 points. Red team kind of unsure of exactly what they want to do. They want to go for this boss. If you want to go for this boss, they shouldn't really go for like a team fight or a major team fight.
I mean, Lux is back here on Chieftain with Thieves Guild. I don't think he knows that Anya's there. Anya's probably going to go in for this steal. Not quite the time yet. Probably throws down the Shadow Refuge, probably trying to see if he could take it over Lux here, and it does go to Anya this time, so that's a huge pickup for his team. He needed that. They're only down about 15 points now, even despite being down about 80 earlier, with a triple cap in the Seraph's favor. So this is a huge turnaround for the blue team. They just hold on to this 2 cap for a little bit. They're going to build up a substantial lead that they're probably not going to be able to give up. So this is looking really good for the Dream right now.
This is exactly what the Dream needs. They need to secure these 2 points, just win the team fight, defend their 2 points, and go for the decaps, go for the bosses. And they're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, the red team does get the decap on the henge. and possibly going to force the blue team out of this fight. Despite them taking down Panthera at one point, they got him back up. Lux does go down, so they could make a push back onto this node. Do have a decap coming out for the engineer for the blue team. Great rotation from Space Bands there. Able to get that decap on the henge node. Make sure the red team isn't taking a 2-cap. Blue team does have about a 12, 13-point lead here. Max going down, though. Eklon's all on top of them. They should be able to get this res without any issues. There you go. They got it. Space Band's going to be bailing out at mine node as Warmonger did +1 it at the mine. Going to be pushing back onto this mid node, but they've really got to do something at the henge if they want to win this game. I mean, they did take down Panthera. Eklon does go down, so doing exactly what they need to do right now to hold their 2-cap once again. They got to rotate back to the mid node as the red team starting to make a little bit of a push with Lux getting in there, Warmonger. We do have Jazzy Turrets making a push through the beach to the henge, seeing if you can get a decap or get there before the full comes out. Full cap comes out for the Dream.
Red teams are just funneling into these fights, you know, they're kind of outnumbered, they don't have all their players up, they're just kind of going, pushing into these team fights, getting caught out of position, and just not having enough time to regroup and build up for another huge team fight that they could possibly come back in this game with.
Yeah, we do see Max throwing down the portal to help support his teammate there against Jazzy Turrets. See if they can take him out. If they can take out Jazzy Turrets right here, that could definitely be the GG. I mean, Jazzy Turrets is a pretty big part of their team, being the one guy who can knock back people infinitely, but he's not going to be getting the decap anytime soon. As we got Spaceman's here, we got Southern Owl and Max here. Going to be taking him out any second. Anya on the prowl, getting that decap on mine. No contention whatsoever. Red team kind of falling apart here at the end. They get the decap on the mid, but it felt like slowly, gradually, they're just losing team fights after that big lead, 80-point lead, and just giving up a lot of the points, losing a lot of team fights here.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same that this game's in the. They're just going to take it.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this game, I thought the blue team would definitely take this map, like I said earlier, but the red team definitely showed a lot of signs of life. I mean, they had an 80-point lead for crying out loud. They had a 3-cap during the middle of the game, but they weren't able to hold on to it. I mean, Lux is going to be taking the mine node for him, but it's just a little too late. If they have Southern Owl sit on that home node, sit on the henge, that's not going to be given up unless Jazzy Turrets can make it over there. You have Warmonger and Eklon going down, so this is not looking good for the red team. I think Seraphs are probably thinking about what they're going to be doing on Legacy next instead of worrying about this game, because it seems as if it's already lost.
Yeah, I felt that they over kind of committed and weren't aware of Blue's rotations after they got to that 3-cap around mid game, I believe. They should have just like play defensive, kind of like shifted around bar node, but kind of be mindful of what Blue's rotations, what they're attempting to do, and then adjust their strategy based on that. But they just kind of seemingly narrow, like trying to on that 1 point at henge, and when they just got decapped and they started losing fights, kind of small skirmishes around the map.
Yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, the Dream definitely had a solid hold on the ending there. But like I said earlier, Seraphs, they could have taken that match had a few things went their way. I think it was very key for Anya getting that kill on Chieftain. You know, despite losing Spawner, getting that kill on Chieftain, giving that extra 25-point boost to get back into that game, it could have been a big swing. It could have gave the Seraphs a little bit more confidence getting back into the game after losing their 3-cap, losing their 2-cap. It's a little frustrating for them possibly that they lost that, even despite Lux having the Thieves Guild out. But I mean, that's just the way it works sometimes. You win some, you lose some with the Thief battles on Chieftain and Spawner, and it just happened to go in Anya's favor that time.
Right. Just another thing is like the composition. I feel like blue team's composition is much more favorable. I mean, just looking at the red team composition, having the turn engineer and the thief, the roles are kind of redundant in the fact that they're trying to keep control of the enemy's home node. That is your home, the far node, and having kind of the decap engineer keeping that far node decap, but having your thief wanting to go for those decaps, you know, it is really redundant. And ideally, I feel like if you have a decap engineer or have like a turn engineer in your composition, you probably do not want to run thief. Instead, run something a bit more bunkier, something a bit more heavy in team fights, like maybe another necro or engineer.
Yeah, it's definitely true. And here we have it, like we saw in the last series that we saw, the Seraphs, which was probably 2 series ago, if I'm not mistaken, Panthera moving off of DPS Guardian. It was on the same map too, so possibly they were planning on doing this regardless win or loss. This is going to better suit them for 3-point play with the Staff Ellie now. Panthera moving on to it. He's going to be running 00266. He's also got the Signet of Renewal. So that's going to give him a little bit more survivability for his team, allowing him to res some players possibly up to full health, you know, allowing them for more mobility if he wants to use it in air. We're going to have to see how he actually uses that. And Not David's going to be moving from Warrior. You know, they're not losing a whole lot in res capability. I mean, they've got the Staff Ellie with Signet Renewal now instead of the banner. He's going to be moving on to DPS Warrior. DPS Ranger, Power Ranger. He's going to be running Longbow, Greatsword, like we saw in the last series that we saw him in. He's going to be running 66020. So a couple of changes for him.
It's a very good map for Power Ranger, mostly because of how many ledges there are in this map, especially at midpoint. We just can't see the ledges, high ledges here. The Longbow Ranger can just shoot down the opposing members of the other team. And it's really hard to get up there, especially if you're not a thief. I mean, and also not just the midpoint, but also other points in this map as well have many ledges that the Longbow Ranger can take advantage of.
The match starts soon.
Alright, seems like we're going to start into this game. Let's see what blue team is attempting to do here. I'm just kind of curious as to what team's going to adjust for this.
Yeah, definitely. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are pushing for the 3 notes. I believe the last time we saw them, they did push for the 3 notes, but there we have it. Jazzy Turrets making this push for their blue team's going to play it safe. 3 members to their home node. They probably knew the Jazzy Turrets was going to push for it, so they're going to try to spike him down there. They got the stealth coming out. Take a look at Max and see what him and Anya are going to be doing here onto Jazzy Turrets. See if they take him out super fast. The red team's going to solidify the home node at the quarry there. Just trying to see if the blue team's even contesting it, but they aren't. Jazzy Turrets get super low here, able to get that Elixir S, and a huge push coming in for the red team onto this mid node. We do have Eklon in the downstate though, but that's going to change possibly soon here. Have to see. Jazzy Turrets does go down at the waterfall, so we do have Anya and Max making their way to the mid node. This should prove for an interesting team fight, seeing as we've got members eliminated from both sides of the spectrum here.
Blue team grab the capture point.
Both teams try to play like sort of a defensive strat, and I think the blue team kind of played it smarter in the fact that they just focus on the 2 nodes, whereas red team trying to push those 3 nodes, thus losing kind of a member unnecessarily at far point, giving blue team an advantage here at mid. And it seems like they are having this advantage here. Eklund is really low, probably going to go down. No, actually, it's cooldowns up. Anya peeling out, and yeah, I think the blue team has this team fight in the bag.
Yeah, we have Eklon going into the downstate, Panthera going into the downstate. Staff Ellie, despite the amount of healing potential and group support it has, it gets cleaved down super fast by just burst. You know, it doesn't have a huge health pool. Obviously, it's going to have a higher health pool with the Celestial Amulet over the Cleric's Amulet, but still, getting taken down by burst is fairly, normal for a Staff Ellie. And there we have Jazzy Turrets getting the full cap on Waterfall, no contention. So, Seraphs, despite losing this team fight, it felt like they lost the team fight. Many of their members were dead. Even so, they have sides right now, so they don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah. Eklon and then the red team was right now trying to peel off the sides, actually, wait for members to regroup. And I think it's already too late, because Anya's already getting that decap. What the Ellie should have done, Eklon should have went back to home, preventing that decap, just holding up 2 nodes they have and waiting for blue's rotations.
Yeah, I'm a little confused on the decision making there by the red team. They had sides. All they needed to do in a situation like that, when you have members who are coming off respawn, you have sides, you secured them, and you're still in the midpoint, you need to realize there's no reason for you to be in the midpoint. You're at a disadvantage. You just lost a team fight. You have sides. Be grateful you have sides. Don't push it. You don't need to do that. And they did, and what came of it? A decap from Anya, and it's working out in the blue team's favor because of that greediness there.
Now, this might seem like an over-rotation from the blue team, but I think it's a very smart play. Knowing that red team, right now, blue team notices that the red team wants to play sides. So they're going to push 4 members into the quarry node, anticipating that red team will push into the quarry node. By anticipating this, and it seems like their prediction was correct, they will secure this fight and be able to have a much higher advantage in the different team fight happening at quarry node right now. And blue team is doing just that, being able to secure both of these nodes, it seems.
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting to me. I didn't mention this earlier. Not David is running Signet in the wild, so he's not going to have any Condi clear from the other Signet renewal there. It's kind of interesting that he takes that. I mean, there's not a lot of Condis coming out from the red team in general, but still, or excuse me, the blue team. But still, it's nice to have it when you need it. I mean, they've got an engineer. That's Condis itself. But red team trying to make a push for the mid node, it looked like, or Jazzy Turrets was, but they portaled out of there. I think it was a little bit of an over-rotation, pushing 4 members out of there through that portal. 1 came back, and now the red team's going to have the advantage at their home node here on Quarry. Red team down 15, 16 points here. Anya going to get that decap on the waterfall. Definitely the full cap, and we could definitely see a 3 cap coming out from the Dream here.
I think the blue team is definitely going to skyrocket from this. I mean, they're definitely decapping the Falls node.
They're moving away from this. Good decision.
They're moving away from Corey. It's a very smart move from the blue team. Just secure the 2 points they have, waiting for red team to see what they're going to do. Kind of regrouping here. and we're just gonna have to see how red team reacts from this.
Yeah, I mean, red team's going to be getting the Quarry. Jazzy Turret's coming off respawn any second now. I think the red team should push for this mid node. Jazzy Turrets, depending upon what's happening at the mid, should either support them or just push for Waterfall and see if he can get a decap on it. Obviously, Waterfall is not a great node to be on to try and get a decap as a turret NG. Too many railings for him to deal with, but I think at this point it's what they need to do. They're only bound about 50 points here, so they can. This is not a lost game by any means.
Right, and it seems like they should. I kind of like what red team was trying to do. They're trying to feint an attack at mid so that they can get the turn engineer, sneak the turn engineer to far point. But it seems like blue has caught on to this, trying to take out 3 members of the blue team, trying to take out 2 members of the red team. Probably will win this fight, and it's in the blue team's favor as well. It's not a good fight, and they're already at a numbers disadvantage.
They got a decap on Waterfall though. They're in a 3v3 here. They got a decap. Blue team's just bailing the point, totally bailing it. And they're just gonna, looks like they're just gonna sit on mid node, possibly looking for a couple of kills. They've got a portal on it. They're just gonna push for the Quarry. So I'm not exactly sure the reasoning behind that. Maybe because they already got the decap. They're gonna get the door down tier too. It looks like Jazzy Turrets is gonna get it, but blue team didn't even get the decap on Quarry. So maybe a little bit of miscommunication. I'm not exactly sure. But they all moved for the Quarry instead of fighting the Waterfall. Not Navy going to the downstate. Did get res. And that Panthera using that signet of air there, of renewal in the air attunement, so allow him to get right back to him. Not David going down once again though, so that's not going to be too good of a situation. We have Max in downstate as well. A lot of cleave coming out from the red team. Do have the rally coming out as well because David, or excuse me, not David, did die there. So huge team fight coming out here. Looks like it's going to be in the favor of the blue team, but the red team shouldn't fret too much. They're going to get the gate down, and that's one of the things they love to do.
Yeah, I feel like blue team could have pushed for Waterfalls, but again, I thought that it was still a viable decision to go back into Quarry. I think it's better to push the falls and then just keep the two nodes. But hey, I think either one works.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a near full team wipe here. We do have Not David coming off respawn. Lux is here in the downstate. Echelon just got stopped. They have the Waterfall. They need to regroup and make a big push here as blue team. They've got a significant lead. They got the 2 cap. They're just going to build off this. And, I mean, let's take a look at the gate here. I mean, the health is about 25%, so that's. It looks like we have Jazzy Turrets going to be making a push for it and get the gate fully dead there. Blue team making a push for this gate as well, just in case they need it as a last resort here. But they're holding on strong here. I think the red team will get to 350 and push for a Lord. We're going to have to see what happens in the next team fight. I think that will be the decider of what they do to end this game.
Yeah, I think that blue team just needs to keep on these 2 nodes. They know they're in the lead. Just need to make sure they not die in these team fights. And red team just needs to kind of gather themselves around here and just not get picked off in these fights. They just need to hold on and just wait.
It just feels like, I mean, Lux down once again, didn't even get a whole lot of use out of him, and Not David's at the mid node right now. He died at the mid node. They're scattered. They need to regroup at their home node or at their mid node, not both, because as you can see, it's not working out for them. They did get the gate down, but blue team's only 160 points away from winning, and they're holding on to a solid 2 cap. Haven't given it up for the past few minutes now.
It's gonna be very hard for it. Actually, I don't know. I think red team. There's a slight chance for red team might be able to. The gate's already down on the blue lord, and if they can get a decap on one of these points,
Jazzy's a little scared to go for it though. It looks like he's just gonna go around him. I'm not so sure on that decision. Effective Angel's gonna try and get the goad for Waterfall. No, he's just trying to go around Effective Angel, seeing if he can get a decap there. The Shadow Refuge coming out for the red team here. Probably going to possibly try and spike Max here. We're going to have to see how that works for him as Panthera is in the downstate on the node here. And blue team plus 2ing the mid node here. We do have Max going in the downstate. If they get this kill, that could definitely res Panthera. We did see a res trying to come out onto Panthera there. Not so sure if that's going to res him though.
Yeah, red team seems to be able to eventually secure this node. But blue team's already looking kind of at falls. Yeah, they've kind of just diverted away the attention away from Quarry and going to capture falls and mid. I think capture falls and mid, they're in a really good position because again, it's actually a very smart move on blue's part because usually for a Lord Rush, you need the point in your favor that's leading up to the gate, and that's much easier to do that. Go for the Lord Rush. It's very, I think, really smart move from blue to secure both these points at falls and mid so that the red team cannot go through falls and go into the Lord.
Yeah, it's definitely true, and I just think the blue team, I think the Dream, despite them 3 of their members dying here, I just feel like this game is possibly already over if they're able to sit on that waterfall. No, we do have Space Fans getting that res before some cleave can actually come out onto him there. And Infective Angel, I don't think they're going to res him. We do have Lux already making a push for the Lord. I just don't think it's going to happen. They're at 310 points. Actually, Lux is going to go for the decap on the waterfall, but we do have Max getting that decap, or excuse me, that full cap on Quarry, so they're just going to continuously take points here. I think the Dream definitely has this in the bag here.
Yeah.
I mean, Lux got the decap, but it's against Space Fans here. He's going to be trying to drag this out possibly. We do have the red team trying to get a decap on the Quarry, possibly a desperation move here. I mean, it's their only chance at winning the game. They did get the cap on mid. If they're able to take out Max and Southern Owl here, they can take the game. They are going to +1 this here, but I just think it's a little too late. You know, despite them, even if they get a 3 cap, the Dream is pretty good at regrouping and getting back into the game. They could easily go for the Lord. They already have the gate down. And at the waterfall, blue team, the Dream, they took down Lux, so they're going to cap it. And I think this game number 2 is possibly going to go to the Dream.
Yeah. The Dream showing some really excellent decision making in this game.
Decap
a lot
came
of it
out
was a lot of good decaps, but I was really kind of more so impressed with this kind of decision making and kind of trying to counter what red team is trying to do. It was a lot of like again, that's kind of like the Mesmer's decomposition. It allows you that flexibility with that portal. You can outnumber fights and you can have great mobility with that portal. And red team just seems to be kind of funneling into fights, kind of unsure, not really regrouping, but still some really good plays by red team at the same time. With Jazzy Turrets kind of trolling at far point, I know what red team is trying to do, but I don't know. I think blue team at the end of the day comes on top with that portal play and